Welcome everybody to CSL Dallas. That's right, put your hands together for the CSL Dallas music team. And thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us online all over the world or you're here in the campus, we want to say thank you. And every day is a day for transformation, spiritual deepening, and heart connection, no matter what's going on. And every day we learn and practice something important that makes a difference. We love that you are here on this journey with us, and we want to invite you in holding a powerful vision for an awakened humanity. So join me for today's celebration by putting your hands together for the CSL Dallas music team.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing grace today. I'm choosing grace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing grace today. I choose compassion today. I choose compassion today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I choose compassion today. I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing joy today.
I choose abundance.
I choose abundance today. I choose abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I choose abundance today.
Choosing heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today.
Good morning, CSL Dallas. Beautiful performance from our music team as usual. Sunday after Sunday, morning after morning. You know, every single one of them performs their hearts out for us. I'd just like to say thank you so much to y'all. Hi, thank you for letting me be your platform assistant today. I'm Bakari Issa. I'm one of the teens who will actually be leaving for teen camp. So thank you for all your support online and in person, out there on the table, donating to us and just giving us your time. Now let us read our purpose statement. Radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. All right, first up, from whence we came. Understand the origins of modern spirituality by examining some of the great contributors throughout history. See the influence of Ernest Holmes and a deeper understanding of how science of mind was formed. Travel through history and read from some of the masters of metaphysics. For serious seekers and those interested in inward journey, the class will be coming this fall. Affirmation Workshop coming in July. Affirmations are, for some of us, the most powerful tools that we can use in our lives. Personally, every day in the morning, I wake up and use an affirmation. Reverend Patty Generous is hosting a special workshop that will guide you through this process of making personal and powerful affirmations that you can use daily. Learn why using these affirmations can be so powerful in breaking through false perspectives and self-created limitations, July 16th from 10 a.m. to noon. Register for all your classes online at csldalis.org/education. Now, let's settle in now within a journey of a music team. Affirm that we'll let it be.
wash over us. We let it be.
Sing that again. We let the love.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
We let the joy.
We let the joy wash over us. We let it be.
So I invite you to just breathe that in. Whether you are from afar or right here in the room, remembering that we are all in this one place. There's really only one thing happening here, and that is one life, one power, one presence. What I know to be true is that the impulse, the source, the intelligence, the power is always love. That love is so intelligent that it always knows in its impulse more life, freedom, joy. And so in this moment, should you feel anything less, I just invite you to let that truth, that one life, that one powerful love wash over you. Wash over each and every one connected to you. Knowing that eventually it's all connected, it is one life. Breathing in, trusting the intelligence of that love, of that life to move us forward. Feel that, open that, bring that in, leave that in, trust that. Know that in that you have the courage, you have the dignity, you have whatever is nudging you this day, what is mine to do? Standing in that light, love washing over. Trust that power. One step at a time. And so we bless this time together, each and every one of us, starting right now, next breath, wash over, and let it be. And so it is.
We join us in singing We Let the Peace.
Let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
We let the grace.
We let the grace wash over it be.
Someday we're going to put a candle out here and it's going to be a celebration. This flame isn't big enough. Here. So I'm one of those people who benefited from Roe versus Wade. So did my son. If I'd have had a child at 18 while I was abusing drugs and alcohol, I would have had a child with fetal alcohol syndrome. I was making $400 a month, and my rent was $295. I had no money on which to raise a child. Clearly, I had no business having a child at that moment. My son benefited from that. When I was 32, I brought a child into the world that I felt I could raise. I was more financially secure, gotten some of my life together. I was serving in a ministry. And my son had a good life because I waited. Because I wasn't stuck with a terrible choice, barely a choice, made out of not being in my right mind, seeking to escape the pain of my life. On Friday, that was taken away. And I saw a lot of people say on Facebook, this is a sad day for America. I'm not sad. I'm mad. And I'm mad for all the ways in which now a decision has been made which can unravel anything that has been decided is not part of our history in America. So not only have they come for women's bodies, but shortly there will be coming for my marriage and for the birth control that my granddaughter is going to need. They're even talking about coming after Brown versus the Board of Education. Now, let us not be fooled that this is a religious argument. This is not. Abortion was made a problem for two reasons in the 1890s. One, because men were taking over the medical establishment and they decided that they needed to take over women's birthing at home, to bring it into the hospital, make money, and what they did was smear the names of midwives. In addition, they were terrified of the browning of America. This is designed for more white babies to be born. Unfortunately, the burden will land less on the white women, but more on the predominantly people of color who are predominantly below the poverty line. Won't have choices and options. Now, our spirituality speaks about responsibility. It was my responsibility to decide whether or not to bring that child in the world when I had no business doing it. And it was my choice to bring a child into the world when I could.
That's what we teach in the science of mind. Taking responsibility and the freedom to choose. We also teach that we're all one. That all human beings are part of the one life. That every life is precious, every child is perfect, regardless of skin color, class, socioeconomics, sexual orientation, disability, gender. Sure, there are other things on that list. At the moment, I can't think of them. My talk today is called Holding a Powerful Vision. I picked the name of that talk 3 months ago. It seems perfect for today. And yet for the last 2 days, I've been struggling. So once again, I get to let you in on my process, and hopefully we can walk it together, hold each other up, remind each other of the truth, and stand in our vision. I will not go back. I will not be moved. I will not change what I believe in. And I will speak for our oneness. A life that works for each and every person, and a life that works for me.
It's all right, I got to do some clicker magic up here. I'm really excited to share this song with you, if I'm completely honest. This is one of my favorite songs ever, and I'm really excited to do it with Lainey. It's a song called One, by a band called Bird Talker. And yeah, I wanted to do it with the video, so I have to do all this stuff. But it's going to work, it's going to be great. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready? I've played the teacher, the preacher, guru, maintaining postures, separating me and you, as if the thoughts of God were mine and mine to speak. I've listened with an agenda so I could prove all of the shit I believe to be true, just to hide the fear of being weak. Wordless scorecards balance out the scales. We are one when distracted by our differences. Underneath what's detectable with eyes, every particle's vibrating with the one line. If we keep running around deciding who's right and wrong, then tell me, where are we headed? How can we all belong when all our logic is colliding and it's constantly dividing me from you? So damn those eager protestations on your tongue. Shut your brain up long enough to hear the lowly hum. Underneath what's detectable with eyes, every particle's vibrating with the one line. Hey, hey, hey,
waiting for us. All the notions of you, the notions of me, we finally agree don't mean a thing.
Burn
Beyond
the scorecards,
right,
balance out the
land of
scales.
the wrong.
We are one
There's a
when distracted by our
field waiting
different
for us.
sails.
All
Down
the
those eager
notions of you,
protestations on
the
your tongue.
notions of me,
Shut your
we
brain up
finally
long enough to
agree
hear the
don't mean a
lowly
thing.
hum.
Beyond the land
Underneath
of
what's
the right,
detectable
the
with
land of
eyes.
the wrong.
Every particle vibrating with no one lies.
Yay. Thank you, Kirby, Lainey, Brad, Jonathan, and Alex. Thank you so much. We are one. And underneath it all is some deep truth. Thank you so much. Some deep truth that we can't see and we can't detect. And it is the very truth of our oneness. And as you know, we're in a closing of our reimagining me and we. And we've spoken about how important the and is. It's not either me or we, nor is it a move from me to we. It is actually a recognition that me and we are inextricably linked, that we are, in fact, constantly engaged and impacting each other. The me and the we are in an ever-present dance and relationship. And our spirituality and our truth lands us in the we, in the paradox of it all. Now, in the 70s, I got into the environmental movement. I was actually originally going to be an environmental scientist. I was going to live in one of those fire towers up in the forest and not have to see people for 6 months out of the year. And then I decided to become a minister. But I loved learning about the environment and all of that and how important what's going on in the environment. And I was sad and angry to see how much we were degrading it and all of the ways in which we were not paying attention to that. And I remember in the 70s really learning about what can be done. And then I began to watch things change. I remember when Lake Erie was burning, and that was like mind-boggling how a lake burns. But there was so much trash in it, so much stuff floating around, and tires, and I don't know what all. It burned for months until they figured out how to put it out and decided to clean it up. And now Lake Erie is one of the cleanest of our Great Lakes, reimagining the possibility. And so I was hopeful. I was hopeful in the 70s. And if you'll recall, there was a declaration or a big study that came out in the U.S. Under Jimmy Carter that we were headed for catastrophic climate change if we didn't change what we were doing. That was in the 70s. And I've watched since then that being ignored by a large number of people and a large number of businesses and governments, and we are suffering the consequences of that today. And I was always frustrated and disappointed. Why didn't it catch on? Why weren't more people? Do you know that in the United States, 10% of the people recycle? 10%. In Europe, it's 95%. In Denmark, they not only recycle everything, but everywhere there are composting bins. So you compost your food waste publicly, and they use it to fertilize the public fields. They've got it down to a science. It's not rocket science. But somehow in America, we decided, I don't know, it's not important enough to us to do it. Only 10 to 15% of what's possible to be recycled in the number of people who recycle in the United States. It's amazing to me. And I remember hearing and reading an article, gosh, I would want to say maybe 10 years ago. And it was addressing exactly this fact. What happened? Because we were getting closer and closer to the edge of the climate change that we're now beginning to experience. And all of the things that we're experiencing were already predicted. And what wasn't happening? Why wasn't it happening? And the article I thought was so incredibly insightful. And their thesis was, because since the 70s, all that has ever been really done in terms of the environmental movement was doom and gloom. This is terrible, this is terrible, this is what's going to happen, it's terrible, we're going over a cliff, oh my God, this is horrible, 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 horrible. And I don't know about you, but that gets to be tiring, that message, doesn't it? And I don't always know what to do about it. And what happened is people decided or simply chose to turn away. The doom and gloom was too much, and they didn't see the immediate consequences. It wasn't happening right in front of their very eyes. And so it was easy for people to turn away. Why? Because there was nothing for them to turn toward. There was nothing for them to turn toward. And this is, of course, what we teach in the science of mind, that we actually have to be for things. We have to be moving toward things. And if we want things to change, we have to hold a powerful vision. We hold a powerful vision of our own lives, lives that are prosperous and healthy, lives that are filled with joy and meaningful contribution. We hold a vision for ourselves growing and expanding and expressing more of who we are. And we are working on holding that vision for humanity. Centers for Spiritual Living, the purpose statement for Centers for Spiritual Living is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Awakening humanity. That we wake up to the truth of our being, that we wake up to what's actually going on here. This isn't hell. We weren't kicked out of paradise and now have to suffer here and learn lessons and hope to God we are good enough to somehow be redeemed and saved. No, this is the universe delighting in itself. This is the expression of life. Awakening to itself as you and me and all sentient beings everywhere. This is the place where life is getting to experience itself. Oh, not just only here, obviously, not just here on Earth, but all through the galaxies and the universe and the multiverses and wherever there is life. This is a joyous expression, the exuberance of life. Evolving, growing, trying, becoming, doing, whatever it is that is an outpicturing of that love that is pouring itself into creation. All the ways that joy can be manifested. All the ways that we can see abundance flowing. All the ways of all the things that we imagine in that one perfect life is being expressed here. And for us to wake up to this truth and to wake up to our part in it and to wake up that we are now engaged. We're now engaged in the process. Futurists have said the moment that we dropped the atom bomb, we took on the role of the creator, because we can both create life and destroy it here on the planet. And we have to wake up to that fact and to wake up to who we are, what we can do, what we can be. And of course, we have to wake up to this fact that we are individuals and we are having a collective experience, and that this tension is the constant tension that is going on. It's the constant tension that we are living in, as we've talked about over these last 3 weeks. and finding a place to stand where the me isn't run over by the we, and the we isn't diminished by the me, but there's a place, a vision, a powerful opportunity for us to stand in that place where we recognize that these two things are not mutually exclusive. But this requires us to stand in a transformational place. It requires us to move beyond a transactional way of being in the world. The transaction that we have at our work, I'm going to do my job, that's good. The transaction that we have at the store, I'm going to get what I want, and I don't care what it costs or how it impacts. The transactions that we see in the political arena, in the corporate arena, I'll get mine, you get yours. But to move to the transformational way of being in the world, which requires that we recognize that the me and the we are the same. The me is a part of all, the we is a part of all the me's smooshed together. And not every me has the same idea. And yet, there's a possibility that a larger life is moving us forward. A larger awakening is happening. You all have heard me talk over this last month about the fact that both my parents grew up in Germany. During the war, they were adolescents, they were teenagers, they got to watch it from that point of view, and I got to grow up on those stories. And there is a Methodist pastor who has been quoted a million times in a million different ways. After World War II, he was first a Nazi sympathizer, and then when he realized what was really going on, he disavowed all of that. Ultimately, he had to confront his own anti-Semitic, I can't say the word, sorry. Somebody will say it for me. Thank you, thank you. You've probably heard this, and you've heard this in lots of different iterations. First of all, because he himself said it a number of different ways, and second of all, because it applies in so many different ways. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. 6 million Jews were gassed in the Holocaust. A total of 12 million people lost their lives. Intellectuals, academics, LGBTQ people, people with disabilities, the gypsies who were dark-skinned, anybody who didn't look right, act right, live right, conform to the norm. I've heard this said, they came for the gays and I didn't speak out, and they came for the transgender and I didn't speak out. They came for the African Americans and I didn't speak out. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. I've heard it said, they came for the communists and I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. They came for the ecologists and I did not speak out because I was not an ecologist. I've heard this in so many different ways and places, iterated. All of those people, all of the people who have been marginalized or have been made wrong or have been outside of what appears to be the machine of our economy and our politics. And if we don't speak out, who will be left when they come for us? Now they're coming for 50% of the population, women. Actually, they've come for women and are going to continue to do so. And how do we speak out, right? We cannot fall into the trap. This is what I've been telling myself for the last 2 days. We cannot fall into the trap that happened to the environmental movement. Oh my God, look at them. They need to stop doing it. They're evil and wrong. If this doesn't happen, if this doesn't get better, this world is going to hell in a handbasket. That is not the message. And I have been working with my own self about that over these last 2 days. Where do we stand? The other thing that's really powerful to notice in this me and we conversation is it has come out of deep ecofeminism and the Black Lives Movement and a number of other movements around poverty and homelessness and the environment, in that there is this profound intersectionality that is happening. It's no longer just one group. It's not just the immigrants, and it's not just blacks, and it's not just. That's the we. That's the we that we are a part of. That's the we that has to find a voice. But it can't be the voice that is the same as the them. Right? As I told you before, I've been reading this book, The Four Pivots. It's really quite remarkable. And he articulates in there beautifully this idea that if we take on the same way of being in the world, that those people whom we are unhappy with, mad at, or think are not doing the right thing, if we take on the same way of being, the same way of doing, the same way of behaving, do you see, oppressor is just traded for another oppressor. And I'm finding that hard right now. And so we get to have our feelings, right? You get to have your feelings, I get to have my feelings. We get to have our feelings. We are not trying to not have our feelings. This does not work when we're doing this work. We have to have our feelings. We have to look in the mirror in our own selves, reflect on our own place. Where are we coming from? What's being activated within us? Where are we willing to stand? What are we afraid of? All of that has to be confronted over and over and over and over again. Because I've seen it in myself and I've seen it in a lot of spiritual people. The two places that I see people go is either to withdrawing apathy or to vilifying right back, dehumanizing right back. And neither of those places are the spiritual place to stand. Sometimes in the last 2 days, all I could do was tell myself that. I didn't necessarily feel it. But that's okay. That's maybe where we start. In any one of these movements, any one of these moments. What we are we going to be? What we are we going to be a part of? A woman named Sherilyn Hill, she writes this: remember that we have never seen the America we've been fighting for, so no need to be nostalgic. Right on the other side of the unraveling is opportunity. If we keep fighting no matter what, take care of ourselves and each other, stay strategic and principled, and use all our power. All our power. And part of our power is to hold the vision. Part of our power is to not give up on it, to not say, oh, here we are again. Once again, it's not working. Once again, we've rolled back the clock 50 years. Once again, right? But to continually move ourselves into that place where we say, no, from this place I will not be moved. I will not be moved from my vision of a world that works for everyone. and a life that works for me. I will not be moved from that. I will not give it up. I will not give it over. And I will not pretend that that's not where I stand. I will speak about that, and I don't have to do that and fight with you, the collective you, right? Not you, here. That's the practice. That's the practice. In the 4 pivots, he talks about, are we willing to move into a transformational way of looking at how we are going to move the ball forward, how we are going to live through the changes, how we are going to continue to insist on our vision. Ernest Holmes says this: what we now experience, we may cease experiencing if we have the will and the imagination to set our vision in an opposite direction and hold it there. It is the office of the imagination to set the vision. The will should hold it in place until the creative genius of the inner life transforms the image of limitation and transmutes it into liberty under law. To keep imagining, what does a world that works for everyone look like? To keep imagining that there is a container that's large enough for differing points of view, differing ways of being, differing ideas about how life is and what's important, but it is in a container of love, of respect, of engagement. I've heard people say, well, that's just utopia. No, that's the vision. What does it look like? I have no idea. How are we going to get there? That's not my job. That's the universe's job. It's the job of the law of cause and effect to get us to our vision. Will it happen in my lifetime? Right now, I'm not so sure. But I've planted a tree. Actually, I've planted more than one tree. And some of those trees that I have planted, personally planted, will not grow to their maturity in my lifetime. There's a wonderful phrase from the Chinese tradition that says, so when do you plant a tree if you are not going to see its fruition? And the answer is today. You plant it today. You don't not plant it just because you're not going to see the end result. Our vision is so big and so powerful. Who knows what has to happen along the way? What is part of the unfolding and the growing of us to become that place where we are engaged in this unfolding from vision, from transformation. I will confess that it is only in doing this talk and in standing here with you today that I begin to have a glimmer of returning to that space in my own heart and mind. Which is why we're in community together. Which is why we lift each other up. Which is why we stand in this place, right? It's the office of the imagination to set the vision. The will should hold it in place. And sometimes when our own individual will is a little shaky, right, we lean into each other. And when it's my will that is shaky, I can lean into being part of this community. When your will is shaky, you can lean into it so that we hold it steady. We hold it steady on the vision that our imaginations have created. And we have to hold it steady long enough that the transformation can, in fact, take place. So, what is that vision? Well, we all have our ideas about it. We all have a personal engagement with it. We all have a way in which we've thought about it. And the Centers for Spiritual Living has written it down. So those of you who are on campus, you received a truncated, beautiful truncated version of the Centers for Spiritual Living Vision. You received it as a piece of paper. And for those of you online, you are receiving a link in the chat so that you can download this rendition of the Global Vision. I'm going to read you the full text of the Global Vision. What I'm going to invite you to do is I'm going to invite you to let your imagination run wild. To let your imagination run wild on the words, right? Because it is the imagination that gives fire and color and texture to the vision. We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God, of the one infinite reality. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her or their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers his, her, or their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement, and justice. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is a generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all creation. To hold a powerful vision. Maybe that vision is too big or too all-inclusive for us to wrap our imaginations around the whole thing. So pick one or two or three that really resonate with you, the ones that really speak to you, that fire up your imagination, where your imagination has already been playing. And hold that vision. Stand firm in that vision. Once again, I would say, feel the feelings. It's important. There's a reason why we're angry or sad or feel brokenhearted. Something has been broken. But it is through the brokenness of our hearts that the light can shine. It's not patching the heart back up again. It's not girding the loins. It's not putting up the shield. It's letting the light out. Letting the love out to the best of our ability. And to stand for the vision from which we shall not be moved. What does that look like? Who knows? But the truth is, each one of us can do something. And together we can do so much more. together here in this community or any other together that you find yourself with your imagination being drawn to, that your will is willing to focus on, to be connected with. There's so much more then that we can do. And it is so clear that our oneness, which we have been affirming now for countless years, not only in the Science of Mind, not only at Centers for Spiritual Living, but in so many, many ways and places across the globe, oneness has become a powerful rallying cry. And one of the ways that oneness is showing up is us being able to see this intersectionality that is showing up, that we must be for each other's needs, the places where there are others who find themselves in the situation that I have found myself in over this last weekend. Do you see? That is the oneness that we are called to link arms in solidarity with each other. Wherever it is that you feel that you don't fit or it's not actually working for you. Do you see? Then the me that we are gets supported by the we, whether we're working for African American justice, or whether we're working for LGBTQ, or women, or children, or the environment, or poverty, or the wealth gap, or medical support, all the countless ways that we see that the we needs us, and we need the we. Ernest Holmes says, this is my affirmation today and yesterday. Principle is not bound by precedent, and our good is not limited or conditioned by any good that has ever been manifest. We should confidently expect greater good than we have ever experienced or than we have ever known of anyone experiencing. Principle is not bound by precedent, and it is a trajectory of life itself, to be for life. And if I can remember that, then I don't have to be afraid. I can stand in my trust and work for that vision. Speak it, live it to the best of my ability, be it in every way that I know how. I hope that you will continue to join me.
As usual, a beautiful sermon from Dr. Beecher. Greeters, please come forward. And let us say today's abundance prayer.
There we go.
All right. Today, I celebrate the abundance in all things. I expect more good and experience more. I give things in ever increasing height. So it is. Now that we're in the abundance giving mood, it's important that we give generously to where we're spiritually fed. This opens up the flow of abundance in your life and ours too. So we invite you to give back to CSL Dallas through your generous giving, our generous giving financial giving program. There are many ways to do that. You may go on csldallas.org/give or text the number on the screen, or go ahead and take the time to scan the QR code. And now, by popular request, we do Venmo. For those online, remember that we count on you to make sure our live streams and YouTube channels are always available whenever you need or want it. So please give generously so we can support this work. Our new Young Adult Circle is just getting started with meetings every other Thursday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. for intimate, spiritually grounded conversations and mutual support. See Lauren McGregor or email info@csldallas.org or just show up this Thursday evening. Make CSL Dallas your rental venue. Our CSL Dallas campus is open and a great place to rent. We're becoming a hub of activity both days and evenings. Whether it is for special occasions or utilizing one of our classrooms for a special course, meetup, or even business meetings or training, we want to put our facility up for good use. For available sizes and details, go to our website under the About Us tab or email info@csldallas.org. Now, as we come to a close, our spiritual coaches are available for affirmative spiritual mind treatment after the celebration across the breezeway, in the Peace Room, or online. The link is now in the chat box. We love being in the community with you online and here on campus. And for those who are in person today, join us for coffee and snacks across the breezeway in Pankey Hall. See what's going on and stay connected in the community. Let's close our celebration by joining together and remembering that there is enough love for all of us.
We join our hearts and minds as one. Our journey here has just begun. The path is